I would like to give a bit of context to this event today. Many of you are members of the Innovation Task Force. The Innovation Task Force was formed to look at how we can create a better culture and enabling environment for innovation. And obviously, failure is an important part of innovation. And we identified the need to talk more and learn from failure.
Talking about failure is hard. So congratulations for showing up. Today we're going to talk about your failures. And now I'd like to know what words come to mind when you think about that failure. Feel free to shout them out and I will repeat them to the group. Shame. Sorry. Angry. Miserable. I mean, this is pretty heavy stuff. It makes talking about failure really difficult. And in the aid sector, the pressure not to fail is very high. So the context in which we evolve and work makes it even harder to talk about failure.
Why is it important for organizations to talk about failure? We have to be able to learn. The failure is there. The fact that we don't talk about it doesn't take away from that. So we already know that we should acknowledge failure and talk about it. The painful part and the difficult part is the practice of that. Because essentially what I'm asking people to do is to be their best, wisest self in their worst moments.
Over the course of my career, I developed a bit of a specialty in managing trade disputes. Big, ugly, difficult, politically sensitive, multi-billion-dollar confrontations. And the most challenging of these disputes was an agricultural market access dispute. Once I was given responsibility for this, working with my team, we spent months working, trying to find a way forward, trying to build a collective sense of mutual interest. Ultimately, despite both sides working incredible hours over the course of months on end, we failed to achieve the objective of guaranteed long-term market access for Canada to this market. And as you can imagine, this kind of thing was fraught with mistakes, miscues, and failures. I've thought long and hard about this and have consciously tried to improve my performance as a manager on the basis of this experience.
Some of you may know this very famous project called in Nepal, what is called Melamchi water supply. And we've been running it for 20 years. But I have to admit, it really didn't have to take 20 years, you know. Why it failed? There are many reasons. Contractor failure, a lot of safeguard issues, all kind of issues. But in the end, my conclusion is this. Sometimes our own arrogance is really a problem. But sometimes we really have to think about it. Am I really doing this for myself? For myself to have a job satisfaction? Is it really for them? I think that question is always there. We have to stop and look at ourselves. So I think personal integrity in our job is very important.
So all of a sudden, the development work was getting sexy, so people are paying attention. So that's when around 2000 or so, and we were hit with the first case of inspection of ADB. So at that time, when people are starting to get more interested in development work, one of the elements of successful organization is to be a learning organization. And that thought wasn't in my head. And that was actually one of the few things we did wrong in my view, in my case. But that actually helped me really feel to my bones that you need to look at the big picture. We took a great risk of standing here and talking about what we did wrong. When I was preparing for this talk, I was thinking of many different failures that I've committed. But I thought this was probably the one that's relevant to everybody, especially in 2020. And things are changing, so let's look up and look at the big picture.
We all do, and we are all part of that together. I think that's an important message here. You're not here as an individual and make mistakes, but you're part of a big team, of a big organization. You can ask for help, and we can communicate, and we have to communicate better to our colleagues of what works and what doesn't, and have that debate.